Hey, Jim, how's it going today?
Hey, Dustin, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about your new book here, Being Mr. Skin, 20 Years of Nip Slips, Cheek Peeks, Fast Forwarding to the Good Parts. What are the listeners in for with the new book?
Oh, yeah, well, I've run MrSkin.com since we launched on August 10th of 1999, and this year is the 20th anniversary of this website. And, Dustin, when I started it, I truly had zero expectations that I'd be doing it for more than 3 months. I took a shot on it and didn't know anything about the internet, didn't know anything technology-wise, but launched this thing, and here we are 20 years later. I have 40 Skin employees from our offices in Chicago, and this book is about the story of how all this happened and what I do, but also it's a book about trying to be Mr. Skin, this expert on female celebrity nudity, and what it's like to, have 3 kids and a wife and live in a suburb and do this for a living, but also on the business side, what it's like to, have an internet company or any business and make it work, over 20 years and all the mistakes and good things and bad things that I've done, and most importantly, all the fun things that have happened over these 20 years, and never dreaming that my website would be featured in books like, or in movies like Knocked Up, or on the television show Family Guy, or in the movie Entourage, or even Saturday Night Live. So it's been a fun 20 years, and that's what Being Mr. Skin is all about.
Yeah, it is incredible. 20 years. You mentioned now you have a family, you've got kids. I saw a picture of your mom in the book working on the site.
My mom's a skin turn. My mom's a skin turn. So, yes.
What do your kids think of Mr. Skin? Do they know kind of your history, or is it just maybe we'll get to that another day?
It's funny. I have a freshman daughter who, listen, my kids obviously are happy with what I do for a living. I wouldn't say my daughter goes to high school and brags about it, but I'll say this: my son, who's a 7th grader, when I brought home a copy of the book, unbeknownst to me, he grabbed one and literally read the book in 2 days. And, part of me was super proud. Like, I was like, oh, my God, this is a book of my business. I just put it up. My son, without even telling me, picked it up and read it in 2 days. So I was very proud. And then I thought to myself, oh, wow, what about if he gets to the page with the top 5 nip slips of all time? What does he think of Dad? And there's always that issue I always have in my head. Is like, on one hand, what I do is interesting and fun, and I'm proud. And on the other hand, it's like, okay, my kid's seeing this stuff in the book, and there's always that struggle that I have, and that kind of sums up, my life and kind of the fun stuff in the book.
Well, and it's interesting, of course. Back in the day, if you grew up without internet, we had to watch R-rated movies, maybe scrambled Cinemax to see things that the kids have access to anytime.
Every guy our age remembers those scrambled, trying to see a breast in the scrambled thing on the TV for hours. People today can't understand that, young guys,
It does seem like a little sad in a way that kids don't have those memories to look back on, stumbling across things like that as a kid.
Well, I wonder if, I grew up as a young kid in the 70s with, ABC and CBS and NBC. And, when you start coming of age, you're 13, 14 years old, as a young boy, you're just dying to see, anything, and, I was lucky enough then to get cable television and a Betamax in the fall of 1980, and that changed my life. Some may say for the worse, but I'd say for the better. But it was mind-blowing, and I don't know if I grew up in today's world with the internet, the access to all the free porn and all the phones and all that. Like, I don't know if I'd appreciate, movie nudity and television nudity like I do. I just think kids today, 3 clicks and they're seeing things I never saw till I was literally in my 20s or 30s. It was because we didn't have we couldn't easily access that stuff. It's a different world now.
And I noticed you got all those top 10 lists in the book. I saw Phoebe Cates listed on the best of. I mean, that's got to be the only choice, right, for number 1?
Yeah, towards the end of the book, I list the top 10 greatest nude scenes ever, and Phoebe Cates, 57 Minutes in the Fast Times of Ridgemont High with the red bikini top is my number one. And if you think about how great that movie was, we can all quote lines from that movie. It was with the cars moving in stereo. There was the rainwater, how gorgeous she was, how popular to the young guys. You know, she was on the cover of Teen Beat magazine at the time. She was like the go-to girl for all of us young guys. So it was pretty incredible. To this day, that's still my favorite nude scene of all time. That's not to say that I don't appreciate all the great nude scenes that have happened in the last, 5 to 10 years. But to me, the greatest nude scene of all time and most iconic is Phoebe Cates in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Well, Jim, again, Being Mr. Skin is available now. Is there anything else maybe coming up or some other projects we should look out for?
Well, we're always doing fun lists. In August, I'm going to be doing at Mr. Skin the 20 most iconic nude scenes of all time, most important in the history of movies and television to celebrate our 20th anniversary. So we're really looking forward to that. That was really fun to put together, and we have that. And I don't know if I'll ever do a book again, but here's the one thing I could tell you. Nudity is not going away in movies or television. So there's 147 different television shows today as we speak that feature nude scenes. So MrSkin.com isn't going anywhere for quite some time. So there's going to be a lot to talk about over the next couple of years.
Excellent. Again, the book, Being Mr. Skin, 20 years of nip slips, cheek peeks, and fast-forwarding to the good parts is out now. And Jim, I know there's a lot of guys my age who grew up with you. So again, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.